Okay, so do we go XV, GSXR, XV, GSXR? I know one damn thing's right. Oh, let's get that heater on and let's see what we're going to be working on today. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, today is another GSXR refresh video. In the last episode we took all of the decals off the fairings, basically started getting this ready for paint. Now today what I want to do is I want to start stripping this back a little bit more. I want to take maybe some of the fairings off to see what damage may have been caused to the underneath of those. We do have some surface scratches, but I am conscious that it might have bent some brackets. Obviously the radiator etc is under there, and I want to check that's all working condition. I do have my food bags handy and my Sharpie, because like I said in the last episode, it is important that we keep all the nuts and bolts together. I'm going to try and reuse as much of this as I can along with refreshing it, so I don't want anything to go amiss. So, I think probably the best thing to do is let you guys get comfy, I'll get some tools out and we'll start stripping this together. Okay, so that's the left fairing off, and as you can see, you can really start to see some of the damage that I was referring to. There are some scuffs and gouges here, and if it focuses there's a little bit of a dent there. Other than that, it's not in too bad a condition. Now, looking under here, the radiator does seem to have seen some better days, as you can see. But in terms of bracketry, all of that seems to be absolutely fine. So, at least that's something not to worry about. What I am going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can find another radiator. It does depend on costs, of course, but if we can pick another one up that's in better condition with that, we'll definitely start to swap that out. The next job I want to do is try and have a look at getting that rear hugger off, just because that is an aftermarket and fiberglass part, and I want to have a look at the extent of the damage to that. So I lied. Right now, this sort of bolt there just does not want to come off. As you can see, it's got quite a lot of corrosion on there and rust from the elements, and I don't have any WD-40 to hand. I know what garage doesn't have WD-40, but I don't have any, and what I really don't want to do is I don't want to strip it, or I don't want to round that head off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch and move my attention onto the rear tail part, and see if we can start to take that apart instead. Now, I don't know if I've ever mentioned these to you before, but if you haven't got a set and you're working on Japanese bikes, these are an absolute must. They are JIS, Japanese industry standard screwdrivers, and they are absolutely fantastic for just fitting really nice into all the screw heads on any sort of Japanese bike. So definitely go out and get you set one of those, because what we don't want to do is start marring and chewing up some of the screws on the bike itself. Okie dokie, so that wasn't an absolute ball ache in any way, shape or form, but it's finally off. As you can see, we've got it down there. I am going to order a completely new set of nuts and bolts for this. Just pop that down there. If you take a look at this one, for example, if it focuses, so basically what the previous owner has decided to do is they've rounded it out and then stamped a hex in it so that they can fit either a very large Phillips or a flathead. So that was an absolute nightmare to take off. We have the aftermarket under tray. Doesn't look in too bad of condition, if I'm honest, so I may end up keeping that. My major concern is the rear tail lights, because these are literally just corroded, and as you can see, if it focuses in there, they are absolutely horrible. So new tail light is going to be on the wish list to go towards this build, and I think, to be fair, a nice OEM red one will look much better than that clear crystal shite, whatever you want to call it. Taking a look around the rest of the bike, so there was a little bit of a rat's nest in wiring, especially around the rear tail light, and somebody decided to use good old electrical tape, which, do you know what, when you first do it, it looks okay, but it corrodes, it breaks down, and it just becomes so, fragile and flimsy that I'm surprised we haven't shorted this bike out and had any electrical problems since we've had that. So we will be fixing that as well. Next on the list, I think we need to have a look at, like I said, some of the damage, and we need to make a bit of a list on what I want to do. I definitely need to get some WD-40 because some of these bolts are nice and rusty, and as I said to you before, that's a massive schoolboy error. So yeah, but this is the retail section, and as I said, it's got some general scuffs. This is the worst one. As you can see on there, so a little bit of a rub down, a little bit of filler should bring that up a treat. Next, I think I'm going to try and tackle actually the front mudguard, see if we can take that off. I'm hoping I don't have to take the forks off to get that out. There are a few tabs that I can see on there already that are a little bit broken, so rather than bore you again and get the spanners out, we are going to use, let's get a better angle, we're going to use the powers of YouTube, and let's see if we've got some YouTube magic. No, we're going to have to work a bit harder. 3, 2, 1. I mean, that was some decent amount of YouTube magic there. As you can see, mudguard also came off, but in the process we decided we would take the front cowl off, front fairing, whatever you want to call that. Taking a look at the mudguard, there are a few tabs that have ceased to exist, so if I can get an OEM one of them, again I will. If not, I'll just repair it. It's been on the bike, it's solid, it didn't move. Again, this is a little bit of a budget build, it's not as much money as I can throw money at it sort of build. It is a budget build. The front cowl we've set down here, no real issues. There are a few scuffs on the side there, and then this section has snapped. You can just see the crack, and you can manipulate it a bit there. And then there's a bit of a scratch and gouge there, so we're not too bad, to be honest. It's better than I expected, but we have parts everywhere. As you can see, we've got all the nuts and bolts labelled up. And I know I did just say I was going to buy a new fixing kit for this, but the reason I bagged it all up is it just helps me marry things up. I don't know if I can buy a new kit if it's going to tell me what those nuts and bolts are for, or if I've just got to guess. So by putting all the existing hardware in bags, it's literally just a case of get the new fixing kit, find the same bolt, match it in, screw it on, all done. See what I did there? Nice helpful tip. You will also notice that I have gone around and I've started to label things, just because I don't know how long this bike's going to be apart for, and I really don't want to sit there in about 6 or 8 months time, for example, and go, shit, what's that wire to? So yeah, so we're fairly decent start. Now I am going to cut the day short because it's starting to snow quite heavy and the XV's outside. It is under a cover, but she's my baby and I don't want her to be out in the cold too long. So we're gonna call it quits for there. Now, as per usual, if you haven't already done so, please do go and hit that like button. It really does help the channel out. And if you want to see this sort of content, there's much more coming. So please do go and hit that subscribe button as well, as you will not be disappointed. Gonna start to drag the videos out a little bit, so every couple weeks rather than every week, just because I have a new job and I want to make sure I'm fully focused on that, really. But other than that, guys, you know, thanks for watching. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself warm in the winter. Catch you again soon.